During our time against the hur'q, we're going to be engaging in skirmishes across the Gamma Quadrant in our attempts to stall their advance, but things are rather difficult on that front as they are attacking without seeming rhyme or reason, like a swarm of locusts. Even the Iconians attacked at strategic points. What made them hard to predict was their gateway tech that enabled them to be anywhere within minutes, bypassing everything. The hur'q, in contrast, simply throw themselves at whatever they can find, as long as there is a populace there or something to ravage.
The hur'q are invading all across the quadrant, stealing resources, assaulting planets, who knows what else. They're a menace, and they need to be stopped.
Yeah, agreed. So what exactly is your plan for defeating them?
3 different parts of the quadrant are under attack. In each area, skirmishes are in progress against the hur'q. You can see the hotspots shown on your map of the quadrant. The progress indicators show how well we've done in repelling the hur'q in an area. The indicators show progress in the sector as a whole, not just your contributions. Participate in the skirmish to increase progress in that area. Your personal contributions are also measured. As you complete more skirmishes, you'll gain more personal progress. The hur'q are invading all across the quadrant, stealing resources, assault. Dominion ships are engaging the hur'q on all points, though our forces are stretched thin. To show our appreciation for your assistance, I have been authorized to release some amounts of dilithium to captains who aid us in driving back the hur'q.
We can periodically respond to these missions in order to drive away hur'q forces, but it is a constant struggle against a seemingly innumerable force. After returning from one of our forays into the Gamma Quadrant, we receive an expected call.
I need your help with a very sensitive mission. A former Kai Opaka was trapped on a prison moon in the Gamma Quadrant in 2369. Alien nanotech in her system prevents her from leaving the moon, but it also sustains her life indefinitely while on the surface. It seems the wardens of the prison were planning on curing and granting amnesty to the prisoners until their planet was decimated by the hur'q. Somehow, the Dominion managed to obtain the cure, and they've provided it to us as a peace offering. The moon hasn't been hit by the hur'q, but it's only a matter of time. We need to cure Opaka and the others and get them out of there before that happens.
So we're breaking into a prison whose wardens are currently absent to free their immortal inmates and a Kai who's been there for 41 years.
Something else on your mind?
No, not really. When we off? So we brought along the Kai because the prophets will it, apparently, and Julian Bashir because, well, he's the one with the cure. This prison moon was first visited by the Federation in 2369 in the episode Battle Lines. The Yangtze Kiang runabout carrying the Kai, Commander Sisko and Kira intercepted a subspace signal from the nearby Alt system. On approach, the moon's defense satellites shot down the vessel and Opaka is killed in the crash. But the moon's nanites soon revived her, fixing her up, but those nanites only function while on the moon, so she was trapped there.
Good, we've arrived. I suggest scanning the prison moon and its satellite network. They might have fixed the design flaw we exploited here years ago to bypass their defenses.
So they don't just defend the planet with phasers, but with transporter inhibitors too.
Those satellites could cripple a Starfleet runabout with one shot back then. I'd rather not find out how powerful they are now, if you don't mind.
You're giving me ideas. So, for my curiosity, and the curiosity of all of those watching that would like to know, this is what happens if you fly too close. So yeah, let's not go too close.
Looks like the satellite weapon and defense systems were updated to deal with modern vessels, but they still have the same flaw that Mars O'Brien took advantage of years ago.
Great, so the hardware was upgraded, but the software is the same. Could you imagine upgrading a thing so that it's technically better but retains the same bugs and known issues that have ever been present?
You should be able to distract the satellites by firing probes near their position. Distract enough of them, and you'll clear an area long enough to safely beam down an away team.
Easily done. Ready some probes.
Picking up some debris clouds from hur'q ships in orbit.
So it seems that some hur'q vessels have been here, but perhaps they were deterred by the defense network is hoping. Hopefully they won't be back, but we should be quick just in case. From here we can see the sphere of satellites in formation around the alt moon, the bars that keep this prison isolated.
It's possible some hur'q bypassed the satellites. We should be ready.
Agreed, it's quite possible that they just overwhelmed the satellites with numbers, and even if some crashed, well, they may have survived the impact. Wait, that's a thought. What if they didn't survive and the nanites... Uh-oh.
Looks like O'Brien's trick still works. The satellites took the bait, and we have a safe transport window.
Okay then, let's make this quick, before those defense satellites catch up with our probes.
We're in position. I recommend we bring some pattern enhancers along. Local interference can make it tough to get a lock on, and we might have to leave in a hurry.
Prior experience, very useful.
All right, the doctor and I are ready to beam down when you are. Though I can't say I'm thrilled to see that moon again.
Oh right, yes, you are friends with Opaka.
Ah, the wreckage of the Yangtze Jiang. Or what's left of her, rather. Looks like the locals have scavenged everything of value from the old girl. Unlike her, they can never die thanks to the nanotech inside of them.
Well, that is until we cure them, otherwise they'd drop dead the minute they left orbit.
Right. The last time we were here, the prisoners were eager to be cured, if only to get the chance to kill their rivals off for good. I'm hoping that Opaka has shown them a better path in the time she's been here among them.
Ah, yes, of course. They had divided up into two tribes, the Ennis and the nol-ennis. Each faction was determined to destroy the other, and the constant resurrections left to an internal struggle. Opaka stayed behind to teach them a better way. Imagine if it had gone the other way, though. We could meet a Rambo Opaka. No? Just me? Fair enough, let's get moving. Aside from the Federation runabout's skeletons stripped for parts, the only other sign of tech is this pathway in the caverns lit with braziers.
We're not alone. hur'q life signs dead ahead.
Okay. If they're immortal, we run away back to the runabout and come up with a new plan. In the distance, we can see that the hur'q and their attendants are swarming around. I take my time, lining up a careful shot and potential grenade throw before my team decides on their own course of action. Ah yes, medics and religious leaders up front, trained soldiers at the rear. Then again, Her Eminence is clearly still sharp in combat, which is impressive considering she's 67.
This is interesting. I just ran a medical scan on these hur'q. They're not regenerating. There's no sign of the alien nanites in their bodies. Something in the hur'q genetic makeup isn't compatible with the nanites. I suspect it only works on humanoids.
Good. We can see further signs of inhabitation, scaffolding such as this one to enable access to the higher levels, and a makeshift gate ahead. However, these sorts of defences will do nothing to keep out these insects. And sure enough, just ahead we find more of them. Now, these hur'q must be recently arrived. Considering the inhabitants here are immortal, I don't think these bugs would still be alive otherwise.
We're here to help. Keep fighting!
A group of rough-looking humanoids arrive, their faces marked with scars and alien numbers, and garbed in piecemeal armour. Together we manage to fend off this wave of insectoid invaders. But our allies' side does take some losses.
I think you'll find that she'll be in good health within moments. The healing nanites are quite effective. In fact, they seem to have become more efficient than they were last time I was here.
I am registering life signs from a stab wound through the heart.
You can relax. I'm fine now. Really.
You made it. Good. The Kai's been expecting you.
I've seen you in the logs. Golem, right? You were leader here 4 decades ago. I suppose that's the nanites' work. Wait. You said the Kai was expecting us?
Yes, she's had a vision about you coming here. Come with us. We'll take you to her. Unless you'd rather stand around here until more of those things show up.
Ah, yes, they're called the hur'q. I guess you've been rather removed from the galactic scene for a while. We can see cots and makeshift tables inside the nearest scrap structure, so it looks like this was a residential area, which means the Ennis have been forced back by the hur'q attacks.
The Kai's waiting for you, in the temple ahead.
We emerge into a converging of caverns that opens to the sky. We can see the wreck of another vessel here, showing that the majority of this shantytown is crafted from the hulls of such crashes. At a shrine-like structure, lit by 6 torches, we can see the pink robes of a Bajoran Kai.
Welcome. It's been some time since we've had peaceful visitors. And Kai Kira, it's been too long. Truly, the prophets have smiled upon us today.
Indeed they have. We have brought the cure. You'll be able to live a normal life away from here. You'll be free.
And we have something to bring with us. A miracle.
Is that...
Yes, a blessing from the prophets. The Orb of Peace. Through it, we ended the war between Ennis and nol-ennis.
Keep that thing away from me.
As you can see, our peace has been shattered by the arrival of the hostile aliens. We have tried to speak with them, to find reason, but we have failed. We don't even know their name.
They're called hur'q, and there's no reasoning with them. They attack and devastate every world, every species they encounter. We need to get you and your people out of here as soon as possible.
I see. We must take the orb with us as well. I can't have it falling into the hands of such a warlike species. It would be like the occupation all over again.
That's not going to happen. I won't allow it, and neither will my friends. We can administer the cure to everyone in groups. With your permission, we'll start right away.
Very well. Begin the procedure. I'm sure many of us are eager to leave this place and begin a new life together.
I place my team to watch over the orb and head into the encampment to meet with the Ennis and nol-ennis here. Looks like they are at peace, at least. The first person we administer the cure to is one of the 2 leaders.
Some time ago, I asked Bashir for this cure. I wanted to use the cure as a weapon and kill the enemy. I couldn't put the war with the Null behind me. I hated him for denying my chance for vengeance. Now, that's changed, thanks to the Kai. I found a better path. I just want to lead a simple, natural life.
That might be arranged. I'm not sure about the legal system of the Ennis and the Null, and technically you are prisoners still. What I am here to do is to get you off this moon before more hur'q come.
After all this time, to live a normal life, it's like waking up from a really bad dream. I can think about having a family again. An actual family. I don't know what else to say except thank you.
You're welcome. Oh man, what's going to happen to these guys once we get them out of here?
The cure, huh? Well, this cure had better work, friend. Or we won't be friends no more. Get me.
Adorable.
Then it's true what the Kai saw in her dreams. Those visions. The prophets sent us the orb, and now they sent you with our deliverance from this horrible place. Truly, the prophets smile upon us all.
Well, it certainly does seem like the Bajoran faith has spread.
Is this for real? This cure? They talked about it a little after the Kai arrived, but I thought it was a myth. Never thought it was actually real. So, I can die now. Funny, I never thought I would. And now that I can, I'm a little scared. Is that strange?
Not at all. That sounds perfectly normal. Welcome back to the land of the living, I guess. And that was Slanko, the former leader of the nol-ennis.
When they put me here, all I knew was war. I don't remember why it started, just that there was us and the Ennis had to die. Even when the Kai came, I didn't believe. But when they found the orb and people stopped killing, things changed for me. Guess there's something to faith after all. Anyway, thanks for everything.
You're welcome.
Looks like you're down to 1 dose of the cure. Use that to inoculate the Kai Opaka, that is. I'll administer the cure to the rest here.
Right, sure. That last one, did he look like me? Never mind.
You have my thanks for all you have done for us today. May the blessings of the prophets be yours.
And yours, Eminence.
Those things are attacking! Defend yourselves!
Just as we wrap up, a small group of hur'q amble into the main compound and attack Golin Shallar.
Golin's down! Medic! Someone help him!
I'm afraid he's dead. There's nothing we can do for him.
Damn it, should have posted guards down here.
Though we will mourn the loss of our friend Golin, we can take comfort knowing that, at long last, he was able to leave this place for a better one. He is finally at peace, and his Pak will join the prophets in the Celestial Temple.
Yeah, my condolences, Eminence. Just then, Nuria calls in that there are hur'q ships inbound. Clearly, they've renewed their interest in this location. We try to beam out, but it's a no-go, as predicted. On top of this, the increased number of vessels has changed the priority operations of the defense grid, and they no longer are breaking rank to chase probes. Instead, Tarsi has put the entire crew to task in finding a way to hack into the grid altogether. In the meantime, we'll make our way out of these caves and set up transporter enhancers.
The doctor and I will stay with Opaka and her people in case the hur'q make another attack here. Once you've cleared the way to the transport site, we'll join up with you there.
Okay, well, just be careful. After all, I plan to leave with 2 Kais today. We head through some tunnels that we saw earlier and loop back around to the initial courtyard with the first gate. Only now we have the high ground. So, if we position ourselves carefully, we can rain fire down upon them from up here. Don't try it, hur'q. I have the high ground. Oh god, that's quick. He doesn't respect the high ground. He doesn't respect the high ground. I somehow thought that would go differently. Ow. Nevertheless, we are still within the caves right now, so we need to go back to our initial beam-in site to set up the transporter enhancers. Unfortunately, there are more hur'q down here, as well as one type that we've never seen before. There is a large hovering form. Similar to the standard aggressors we've seen before, this Vekrid Overseer is far tougher and shielded. After dealing with the majority of the swarmers, we're able to turn our attention to the big guy, only to find that he seemingly is able to summon more in. So, a shift in priorities it is then. We'll take down the big one first. Eventually it drops, and then it's a case of mopping up the remaining bugs that are still roaming around.
Glad everyone made it out in one piece. Set up the pattern enhancer so we can beam out safely. There's no telling when the hur'q will send reinforcements down.
Fortunately, Kira's prediction this time does not come true, and we're able to set them up without incident. Okay, Kai Opaka, ready to beam out? I must warn you, the galaxy's got a little rougher since you were last there. Alright, we are back aboard the Armiger. However, there are more colonists down there that we do need to still evacuate, and the hur'q are now too close to risk lowering shields, so a battle it will have to be. Nulia also confirms that they've made a lot of progress with the defence grid, and in a few minutes we might be able to mark ourselves as friendly, letting us take shelter closer to the planet. One of the first things we do is deploy the plasma trick to capture the swarmers that were attempting to get behind us so we can take them out. Then we turn our attention to the two larger vessels, so far the only other hur'q in the system, although there's going to be more. As the last of the two vessels goes down, several things happen. First off, we detect a much larger hur'q force incoming, and secondly, we have access to the defense grid.
Let's move the ship behind the satellites and lure the hur'q in.
Oh, indeed! Those turrets are incredibly powerful, and having them on our side is going to be a boon.
Just in time. Here they come.
Okay, the hur'q are beginning to chase us, which means... And there go the defense turrets.
Rear shields failing.
Oh, for a second I thought the turrets were firing at us, but they were going for the swarmers behind us. Whew. The amount of hur'q ships here are far too many for us to safely engage by ourselves, even with the turrets on our side. If we gain the attention of too many of these ships, then they stand a great chance of overwhelming us, so it's best to hit a lone target from behind our palisade of a prison world, or take care of the ones that are targeting us already before we lure in any more. As much as we are outnumbered by the hur'q, the defence satellites vastly outnumber them, and even though many are destroyed in the battle, they just don't stop coming. The Necrid assembly vessels are these two-pronged ships. Each is fairly powerful, but it has an incredibly resilient shield that they can project over half of their vessel, which you can see. However, this diverts power from the unprotected sides, leaving their hull open to flanking. The roar of multiple explosions echoes around us and mixes with the sound most starships fear more: atmospheric re-entry. This skirmish has fallen behind the lines of the defence grid, and we are skimming the upper atmosphere of the moon.
It looks like the hur'q have had enough for now. Let's get the rest of Opaka's people out of the colony while we can. The hur'q might send a larger force to finish us off.
Yes, and as exhilarating as that all was, I would rather not do it again.
I'm glad I was able to administer the cure to the remaining prisoners while you were clearing a path to the transport site. Everyone is safely aboard and mortal for the first time in many years. I've never seen so many people overjoyed to learn that eventually they'll die.
Channeling that millennial energy.
Thank you, Julian. It means a lot to me to have everyone out safely, especially Opaka. We have a lot to talk about, her and I. For now, I think we should return to Deep Space Nine before the hur'q come back to settle the score.
So, safely immune to this defence grid, we leave orbit of this alt moon and set a course back for the Gamma end of the wormhole. This mission feels like we went back for the Forgotten, not only those that the Federation and Opaka promised to eventually aid, but the ones that the Ennis left behind too. And then again, it's been a mad scramble to get out of the Gamma Quadrant, and none of the other Ennis nor nol-ennis are doing great either. Kira and Opaka, however, are indeed going to have a lot to address. There cannot be two Kais of Bajor, and apparently they have both been consulting orbs and in communion with the Celestial Temple, so presumably the prophets have a role for them both.
Welcome to Deep Space Nine.
Emissary, our paths meet again.
Hello, Ben. It's good to hear from you. I'm glad we were able to return Opaka to Bajor safely. She's determined to follow the will of the prophets and establish a new place of worship in the Gamma Quadrant near the wormhole. Odo assures me that the Dominion are open to discussing this. We'll see. Many of us have not forgotten the fate of the new Bajor colony and the Dominion's role in that. As for me, my time as Kai is coming to an end. Opaka is the Kai that Bajor needs now. I intend to guard the Celestial Temple from the hur'q and anyone else who would destroy the home of the prophets. Best place to do that is Deep Space Nine, as part of Starfleet. I'll be Captain Kira the next time you see me. Thank you again for helping me bring Opaka home. I owe you one.
Captain Kira of the Temple Guard? That's got a nice ring to it, I think. So, until that next mission, thanks for watching this episode of Star Trek Online, as we continue to explore its ever-evolving narrative. I hope to see you next time for the next part. Until then, I've been Rick, thanks again, and goodbye.